that, to my mind, is the littlest herod. And Paul is sending grace, and Paul is sending greetings to these people. They're living in Rome on a pension. Paul is sending greetings to these. They've retired there. Paul is sending greetings to them as his kinsmen. So that to me is, there's more proof than that, but that to me is one of the key proofs. And it also explains his Roman citizenship. How does Paul get a Roman citizenship? Oh, and Acts says, oh, I bought that. You know, the Roman soldier questions him. But no, all Herodian family members had Roman citizenship, which Augustus had bestowed on the descendants of their father's father, Antipater, in perpetuity for services rendered to Rome. He got his Roman citizenship. They're all Roman citizens. How about Paul's nephew, if you know the book of Acts, who sneaks into the Roman citadel? Paul's nephew is unnamed. I give you, and Ron gives you the names of Paul's, of a Saul in the Herodian genealogies, who has a sister in Jerusalem, whose son, if I can remember his name, became temple treasurer. I can't remember now offhand his name. Do you remember the one who's the son of this sister of Saulus in the genealogies? Julius Archelaus, I think his name is Julius Archelaus. I think that's his name. He goes to Rome, and Josephus compliments him as one of the readers of his works. Josephus likes him a lot. He'd been temple treasurer. To my mind, that's the nephew of Paul who has entree into upper-class Roman circles. Because, you know, Acts is very reticent, doesn't name Paul's nephew, who can go in and warn the Roman guards that the Jewish extremists are want to kill Paul on the trip down from, like in Iraq today, on the trip down from Jerusalem to Caesarea, where he's going to stay in whose palace? Agrippa II's palace. So he's going to say, well, he's in the dungeon in Agrippa II's palace? No, I don't think he's in the dungeon. I think he's in a nice living quarters while they figure out what to do with him and to protect him. That would be his kinsmen. Those would all be kinsmen. So again, that doesn't come through the works. It's not a proven point, and don't take it as a proven point. But you must admit it's a stimulating question. You must admit it's worth thinking about, that it makes you think, and if you can counter it with arguments, we don't have time in this class to do that. All power to you. That's great. If you can muster the arguments to beat that one down, that's good. That shows you're on top of this field. So it doesn't hurt you to consider these things and be challenged by them. That's all I want to do. Throw in the new stuff, give you the data, and then you work it. Yeah, what's your question?
Is the buzzword, if we see works, people have, like John with works, is that also Mosaic law?
Yeah, that's totally.
Okay. So we can use those.
Yeah, in this period. That's why it's very important that you get the right Hebrew for works. Some of these people, like Vermesh, which is why I disagree with his translations, conceals it. In the Dead Sea Scrolls, he puts acts, deeds. Don't be fooled by acts, deeds. Ma'asim is doing, and in James is always do. The word is osei Torah, the doers of the Torah. It's in the Habakkuk commentary. The verbal noun for that is ma'asim, works. Mix up ma'aseh ha-Torah. Some works, ma'aseh is a plural, and it's cut because it's compounded with Torah, so it's not ma'asim, it's ma'aseh Torah. And it's based on osei, doing. Hebrew works like that. But it's tough for people who don't know the language to understand these intricacies. Yes, anywhere you see works, you can think of it as works of the Torah in this period. Now, other people who don't want to see it like that can see it as they want, but in Palestine, that's how it's seen. Now, if we're talking about service, mission, work in the sense of traveling abroad, all the toil Paul does, and so on and so forth, all he goes through, that's a different Hebrew word. That's avodah. That's avodah, work, in the sense of, that's work in the sense of toil, and mission. Mission is avodah, work in the sense of doing works of the law, works, which God recognizes. Those are that's ma'asim. I could write it on the board for you, but I just keep on taking more time out of what we want to get done here. But I guess whatever we do in this class is worth something. So if we don't cover everything, you guys will forgive me. I get carried away, So that's that. This is an ion. And the word is, for instance, if we want osim, doers, or if we want to go osei ha Torah, then this is how it works. Doers of the, that's a the Torah. Now that's another cheap thing that some of the translators do, including my associate, whose name I just mentioned, but I won't want to mention again, he might sue me. I'm waiting for him to do that, in which case I will countersue him for slandering me in the introduction to all his translations of the Dead Sea Scrolls. So I don't think he'll do that because he has misinformation and slander about me in the introduction to his scrolls, and he also has done it in other articles. So I think I'm free of that. But I hit back at him very hard in my New Testament though, because I'm fed up with being slandered by people I consider to be dopos. In any case, and giving misinformation. He says, Eisenman says, Paul is the wicked priest in the scrolls. And of course, Paul's no priest, so Eisenman's an idiot. Well, that shows he never read any of my work, because the one thing I do not say is that Paul is the wicked priest. He says that because he thinks the wicked priest is the same as the spouter of lying in the Dead Sea Scrolls. But I make it quite clear that the spouter of lying is an ideological internal enemy within the movement itself, and these are two separate people, and the wicked priest is an external enemy responsible for the death of the righteous teacher or the destruction of the righteous teacher. I make that clear in all my work. So what he says about me in the introduction to his work, and he has it in all his translations, is not only inaccurate and insulting and slanderous, but it shows he never read any of my works, but he just listens on hearsay. Second and third hand opinion, and that's a guy from Oxford, the great school Oxford. You can be awed by names because these people crawl their way up the greasy pole to one of these positions at Harvard or Notre Dame or Oxford. Don't be impressed by these people. Usually those positions are given out by who you know and the network, and the in people all promote their own. It's sort of like the Republican Party or something like that, you know, since most of you, I assume, are Democrats. Anyway, let's finish this. So I don't think it's a very good argument here, and I say Paul is a master rhetorician. You see, faith was working with works, and faith was made complete by works.